is to see that you are there participating in our Expo Genetics once again in person. But for you who couldn't be here in person sharing with us, we reach you in your house to take to you all of the technologies and innovations from the Brazilian cattle and many people that participate in the Brazilian cattle project. So it's very good to know that you were there participating with us in this edition of the Made in Brazil. And in this fair, we have many lives for each one of our participants. And the topic today is so innovative that you cannot miss it, and you're going to be from the beginning to the end with us. After all, today we have a staff of experts with us. So we have people here from the different scales of Coimma. Welcome, Bruno Silveira, the executive director, José Dias, our Zezinho, the institutional relations, and Eduardo Pereira from the institutional area of the cattle raising. Welcome. The house is yours, and you are part of our Brazilian cattle project. I am sure that you're going to share with us many news, information, technologies that our national and international audience is going to like, and everyone is going to be aware of so much work that you have and a lot of competence that you have. So we are so proud to have you here. Zezinho, you can feel at home, Bruno, Eduardo. The house is yours, the live is yours. So I'm just going to pass the floor to you so that you can present the best for everyone to know the best of your work, okay? Here in Coima. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, to be part of Expo Genetics 2022, and to be together with the Brazilian breeder and from abroad as well. And Coima is a traditional manufacturer of scales and troughs, and we have 70 years, and it was a family company that was founded in 1951. So, and it's a pleasure to continue here in the commercial area, and that is a reason for a lot of happiness for me. So, I'd like to thank all our partners, our customers, and our suppliers, everyone who helps us to bring what's best of technology to cattle breeding. For us, this is really important, and I'd like to thank ABCZ and the Project Brazilian Cattle, and we are proud to be part of it. Apex that provides all of this to us. This is really cool, and I'd like to invite my colleagues. Zezinha, of course, everybody knows him. He's been with us for 45 years. Eduardo Pereira, he's been with 25 years. And I'd like to pass the floor so they can introduce themselves. Good afternoon. It's a privilege to be here and to share a little about the topic, which is cattle breeding, such a relevant topic for Brazil. And we know that cattle breeders do their best to produce milk and grains and beef. So Brazil is a protagonist nowadays, and we are proud to be part of this chain of production. As Bruno says here, through ABCZ, Brazilian Cattle and Apex, they enable us to take innovation and technology to the four corners of the world through the studio of ABCZ. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And I hope we can contribute with agribusiness not only from Brazil but through of the world. Thank you, EC. Thank you, ABCZ TV and Brazilian Cattle as well for the opportunity to be part of this live. And let's move on to contribute with information of our product line of Coimma and in Expo Genetics 2022.
Great. So now it's your turn, and you can show the world the entire work that you do, okay? Have a lot of success.
Thank you very much, EC. Starting now, I'd like to invite everyone to watch a video that tells about our story, that 70-year trajectory. So we'll show what Coimma is from the beginning. Successful stories don't happen out of the blue. Even the most revolutionary projects, they are born of a simple idea aggregated to the will to go beyond. All trajectory is started with work, and our conversation starts in 1950. There is the Oficina São Cristóvão, and for mixing and for fixing and for for manufacturing of animal tract carts. 17 years later, the office, garage became the company, and Coimma started with his first scale in the 70s. Kojima and Kozan expanded its business, conquering new territories and developing new projects, following the trends and technological innovations. The launch of the first scales electronic were in 1996, and it opened the doors to technology. And later, there were innovative launches such as the hydraulic trough and scale indicator and KMP3 and intelligent weighing system Valpace. All of this work is being followed with recognition. In 2018, Coima was a case study by the European Study of Institute of Design and going into the list of the 10 most innovative companies in Brazil according to Forbes magazine. And recently, in 2019, our newest launch revolutionized the system of contention with the Lock Easy. And innovation doesn't stop. Almost 7 years after the beginning, Coima continues growing. Our path is charted with a purpose to contribute to the technological evolution, encouraging good practices, offering solutions that are innovative, that generate value, efficiency, security, and well being. Some principles guide us, among them the contribution to the generation of wealth in agribusiness, increasing the productivity of our customers, and sharing results of our and giving back to society part of the value that we generate. We try to learn with our mistakes and we take them as part of our culture. We invest in development of our team and we try to create an environment where everyone can have a dialogue with open dialogue in all levels. Communication that it is positive, respect, and kindness. We value proactive activities and people with a sense of responsibility and that are committed with our cause and that hold our challenges. We're moved by our clients offering solutions effectively that make their businesses in responsible and sustainable businesses. Our focus and result is what makes Coima a serious company and committed in offering day after day the best solutions for each customer and the necessary support by the growth and evolution of agriculture and cattle breeding in Brazil. Innovation and technological for cattle breeding, Coima. That's cool, right? To see a little in the video. But the history is here in the shape of a person. So, Zazinho, I'd like you to tell us a bit about the evolution of systems of containment, the trunks, and what was it like in the past? How did Coima manage to evolve with national cattle breeding? Coima is a traditional manufacturer of trunks and weighing scales, and not only in Brazil but in Latin America as well. It was a company that was founded very small in a small town in the state of São Paulo, in Dracena, in 1951. Mr. José de Ancieri was the founder of the company. He is the grandpa of Bruno, and the third generation has been conducting this company very well with the purpose to lead our technology ahead. But back then, Coima started as a traditional manufacturer, fixing animal carts, and after that, animal carts pulled by animals. And in the 70s, Mr. José saw cattle breeding as a promising market in Brazil, and some men had already gone to India to bring new genetic material to leverage our cattle breeding. And seeing that this genetic material was important and we would need specifically tools and special tools, and in the 70s he started working with the trunks. The containment trunks. They were very archaic, obsolete, and the cattle breeder wanted to pull the animal down to weight, and how would you perform castration, insemination down on the floor without any practice, sanitary practice. And then Mr. Jose started manufacturing the containment trucks and trying to improve our genetic material. And we are very happy for this because we managed to contribute effectively with this development. Now our cattle breeding it was a national reference, but back then it was very hard. Over the 45 years looking at the evolution of cattle breeding, I can say that a lot of things came in Brazil in terms of containment measure in measuring systems. First were trunks that pulled the cattle down, and then after that, the teeth systems, and after the hydraulic pistons, that was also an evolution. And then the now we have the locks and Z-lock that innovated the bovine containment that was safe. It's secure, that contains the animal effectively, and it doesn't let the animal go. So that's the story of Coimma to contribute to the national cattle breeding science. And back then in the 70s, we started manufacturing mechanical scales that ran for a long time, and after that with electronic scales that revolutionize with the practical aspects, agility, and the information the electronic scales can offer the cattle breeder with number, carcass weight. All of this contributed for cattle breeders to effectively have data at hand to manage better their business. That is the story of Coimma. It's a family company that serves the whole country. We go from Belém until Chuí, east to west, and through the Brazilian Cattle Project that we were happy enough to join with the support of PEX and ABCZ. It opened the doors to the foreign market. So we had a brilliant trajectory, and we still have a long way to go and to evolve. And these young people here, and as well as cattle breeding that is changing with new blood, with tablets and cell phones and all technologies. Our directors also are together bringing more and more technology and innovation so that our cattle breeding practices will be more lucrative and will yield more beef in less time. Coimma is 71 years old, and it's a company that is known nationally and internationally, and it takes its technology and effectively contributes to the advance in cattle breeding. That's really good. It's really cool to hear that it's like a movie that we see of everyone that was able to be together. And within those systems, we have the hydraulic trunk or the Megatron trunk, which is an innovation that we saw us outside Brazil, and we brought it here, and we also modernized, focusing productivity and animal well-being. Megatron is seen as just a technology for big cattle calf cow producers or operations, but in reality, it gives you productivity for all sizes of cattle breeders, and it provides you with productivity gain. How, Eduardo, can you tell us what Megatron has been doing for the cattle breeding area? Megatron is an exceptional product in the market, completely hydraulic. We had what's best to animal well-being, and it's modular. And at first, this trunk came to the market to deal with a big confinement and volume, but it's already used by small cattle breeders. And because nowadays the workforce is hard to get, employers is hard to get, so it's easy to deal with this trunk. So this product now is in the market, and we have more than 150 products that are installed. And it's already proven today that it is the product that it's all the hype and the market and the weight of beef is going up in value. In the past, people used to think, oh, you know what, the beef was not so valuable, but now it's becoming more and more pricier. So it's going to contribute, and it's going to be used for national cattle breeding. So I believe that Megatron makes people have productivity gain, and that is really good for us because we see, as we have already seen, over 150 units. But basically, these units have been growing over the past few years, right? The past 2 years. That is really interesting. Now let's continue talking about and evolving the situation. I would like to broaden the discussion. Let's talk about cattle breeding and of precision. And I have the honor now to invite Dr. Pedro Paulo Pires. He is a veterinarian master in parasitology and doctor in clinical concentration of big animals, postdoctor in geomedic in Canada in the Laval University of Quebec, and researcher of Embrapa and guidance professor and the master of precision agriculture and cattle breeding in FMS. It's an honor to have you here. Please welcome and talk to us. This cattle breeding of precision? And it's so talked about. Thank you for having accepted our invitation. Good afternoon, everyone. Bruno, Zezinho, Eduardo. It's a pleasure to be here in this team, right? Zezinho mentioned very well, Coimma mentioned the story, and every time I hear that, I get really happy because I'm part of this team, and it's not anyone that can be part of it. And here I talk on behalf of Embrapa because you have Zebzinho da Coimma, and his last name is basically Coimma, right? My last name is Paulo from Embrapa, right? So Embrapa really thanks you for the opportunities and to put our ideas into practice. And for us to do this, we need partners that are really good, as it is the case for Coima with us. Would like to thank you live here, and especially in these areas of innovations that are hard, innovation that are in which it's hard to change the perception and concept of and the status quo of society, especially when you're going to deal with animals. Zazinho mentioned the animal card, and that was created by Mr. Jose. And I can challenge you to think about the dog that we had back then. I am 6 years old, but when I was 10 or 15 years old, a dog is a thing that was used to stay at the backyard, ate leftovers, didn't take any vaccines, get any vaccines. So it was just a thing. So cattle was the same thing, and trees too. So when Coima thinks that needs to participate in evolution, we have to think about this as well. And evolution for us to treat environment accordingly, it is fundamental for us to make money. It's not possible to spend with shading and other conditions if we cannot make money and be profitable activity. So I'd like to broaden the discussion when we talk about cattle breeding of precision in a general manner. How can it effectively contribute? Is it with profit, with well-being? Where does it fit better? We have a tool that is Baltes, and how does cattle breeding of precision can contribute to cattle breeders? So, Bruno, we will be able to follow the life of the animal. If we're weighing animals daily with the passage weighing scale, and we have a pregnant female cow, we can see the weight going up and the weight of the calf going up within the belly of the cow. So, if it miscarries, we'll be able to service it immediately. Imagine a farm that's 10,000 hectares, 5,000 hectares, and we know that there was a miscarriage. If we can deal with her immediately, that is good for that is well-being of the animal. If we look at a herd that is from a European breed, is put in a place that is very sunny, and these animals do not gain weight as we expected, it might be too much exposure to the sun. So the precision that allows us to evolve in the product or in the zootechnics or egg growing, and it also allows us to assess the life of the animal, whether it's gaining weight, it's sick, or if there was a miscarriage, or if it got pregnant. And we can think that at the back of the farm, the animals, when they go there, if they don't gain weight as they gain in another area in the farm, we can estimate that the soil of that area is not good enough. So the pasture is not making them gain weight. And all of this is the cattle breeding of precision. And it is definitely financial well being without a doubt, and it's also animal well being without a doubt. These two topics measure the importance of the product in the world nowadays. So if we can compete with the price of the beef, and we're going to compete with with using the animal. That's why I mentioned the dog. We have to take care of their animal, and that animal, well treated, can gain weight. Things go hand in hand for us too, with a product such as the one in Coimma, to meet this world demand. That is perception. That is to be visionary, as it was Mr. José Dacieri. This scale came to stay. Coimma created the manufacture the whales and the trunk, which is soft and comfortable, and the passage scale, which is the precision cattle breeding, and that is unquestionable. It's like cell phones. Some time ago, very few people had. Nowadays, everybody has one. This passage scale is going to be the same. Yes, it's really cool to hear that because we do believe in that. We believe in the evolution of cattle breeding, and that's why we've been in the market for over 7 decades. And since Pedro Paulo talked about Valpes, which is the result of a 10-year study with of Embrapa between Embrapa and the Federal University of Mato Grosso do Sul and Coimma, and it's already a reality for over 4 years. Is changing cattle breeding now. Now I'm gonna want to show you a video to explain in further detail what the system is like, and after that we're gonna continue this conversation about this product that can help cattle breeders to evolve from the perspective of cattle breeding precision. My friend, I'm here to talk about my business that increased in 100% the management of my herd. I have the complete control of the weight gaining in the animals in my farm, helping me make better decisions, and you can do the same. Economy is profit, and it's always welcome, right? The lack of a system of an efficient weight gain system, it causes a lot of losses. A lot of the animals are inefficient in this aspect, and they're mixed with the other ones that have good gain. So it's hard to identify this, and it's basically money flying out of your hands. So I'm going to tell you a secret to identify this money, these animals that are taking your money. The Coimbra developed Ball Pass. It's an intelligent weighing system control that without human intervention provides daily weighing and remotely allowing me to manage my property, and that allows me to monitor every day to individually follow the weight with a database with all of the important information for me to make the correct decision at the right time. And then I know the cost with logistics, feeding, and other aspects through the cell phone and my computer, and then I can have better management of my property. It's weighing scale of passage that has systems and a center that processes the information, and a transmission module that is powered by solar energy, and with a very important advantage, which is mobility. You can be anywhere when the animals can go through it, and you can transport it anywhere to any area in the farm. Then I identify in the chart which animals are not according to the expected gain weight, and then I do the corrected measures. So are you going to keep losing money? With Ball Pass, you identify on real time the animals that are not gaining weight, and you can make the adequate decision. Optimize your management, and you make more money. Do as the leaders in cattle breeding. Monitor your herd in real time and make the best decisions. Discover what technology can do for your business. With Bell Pass, the cattle goes through and the profit stays. It seems something out of this world, but it is a reality, right? I would like Cezinho to talk about some of the experiences that we have. The clients that are the real clients. Tell us a bit about the clients that we have with this product. Ball Pass, as Bruno said, it's a reality, and we've just seen the video. It's a tool that is at the back of the one area where the animal goes through to drink water. It's monitored, weighed, and the weight is sent to the cloud, and you can do whatever you want with that. And the owner of the farm can have all of this information at its fingertips. We have a case of success at Bauru, and the owner says that the first thing that he sees is to look at the data and look at the weight gain here, and because we know that even in extensive, which is pasture, it costs money. But think about the cattle breeder that confines the cattle and feed him, that represents almost 70% of the fattening process, and it does not monitor. And that's at that moment that he has to remove a specific animal. And then it provides the diagnosis where it should sell, because there is a curve, and then maybe another animal, this animal should be sold according to this data. So this is the Avaí farm, and there are many other farms. But Alexandre, one of these people that always gives us testimonials talking about the importance of this equipment. And now we're just starting an experiment in a farm in Mato Grosso do Sul, in the region of Chapadão do Sul, that is going to be monitored. Not only the animal weight, but also the yield of the pasture, to look at the pasture that is yielding better profit. So the tool bell pass started 10 years ago, and as a result of the study of Federal University of Mato Grosso and Embrapa, and now it's a reality that gives you real-time data. And it's interesting to say that it's available for the rest of the world, right? We already have one in Bolivia in the confinement system installed, and that's what Coimma provides in terms of technology, not only to Brazil, but to the rest of the world as well. And I'd like to thank again the participation, but the idea as well to bring us the crazy idea, as he mentioned himself, Pedro Paulo, to be one of the thinkers in such a noble project. Besides thanking you, I'd like to ask you, what are the attitudes that allow us to evolve in cattle breeding 4.0 or precision cattle breeding? What do breeders need to evolve with new technologies? Bruno, I'm going to say here that he needs good company. Man, I've been a cattle breeder for over 30 years, but I don't have a single animal. So I've been living for 30 years in this area, discussing, innovating, and we are well, and we see success when we are well a company, such as the farmer that's, as you mentioned, from Bauru. You have to stick together with him, because it's in that moment in which you start believing in what is being mentioned. And Coimma is mentioning everything that was developed with Embrapa, with the Federal University, with Coimma team, and it's putting into practice and has big farms that is buying. So what does the breeder need? To listen, to believe, and to follow, because that's the way that Brazil is going to sell beef, as we have to sell to the rest of the world. And you cannot just leave the cattle leave it in the pasture. You need precision cattle breeding to treat each animal very well, and maybe if you know what to do it, if you know how to do it, you teach it. I remember that there was here in Campo Grande, which was Reja, a technical meeting with dinner. So one breeder explained to the others what he was doing. And sometimes they went to the farm to that breeder to see, so others could see what he was doing as best practice, and that was providing profit. And that's a good company. If I could tell a breeder, first thing you have to follow Embrapa in everything that it does, because it's ours and the partners of Embrapa, such as Coimma, that pride us, that are our pride and joy. And all of this wouldn't be in the field if it weren't for Coimma. The good company will always make you a good breeder as well. But Paulo, I could say that cattle breeding of precision is like looking through a microscope instead of of looking at it from afar, right? To be more assertive, more precise with correct measurements, right? Yes, exactly, Zazim. To control every little thing and the computer screen. So, because breeder, okay, go ahead. Because breeder can still write on a piece of paper, keep measuring as it used to do, but it's not necessary anymore. The software analysis will tell him which one is gaining weight and which one is losing weight. That's the future. Thank you, Dr. Pedro Paulo. Thank you very much for your participation here. And it's really important, as you mentioned, to bring the collaboration of companies, associations, cooperatives, and other entities to take technology not only for us here in Brazil, but for other places. So I'd like to thank you once again for your presence. And we always count on your participation. That is always good for us. Thank you very much, Pedro. Thank you. Well, but for us here in this program, it's really interesting, not only the weighing system and containment, but also to talk about other topics that are interconnected. Now I'd like to start talking about genetics and which is connected to the fair itself, which is the main model with which is genetics, right? So now we have the honor to invite here in our streamed program Rodrigo de Moraes. He is a vet and international specialist, years of dedication to genetics. Thank you very much for being part of this broadcast. Thank you for your participation, and we're going to talk about with our breeders. Thank you very much for coming here. Okay. So, Rodrigo, you're here and you should start answering. So, how has genetics evolved for the production of beef and milk in Brazil? First of all, I'd like to thank ABCZ to TV to thank for this space. It's an honor to talk to our brothers from Coimma. We've been friends for almost 15 years, and Bruno Eduardo too. And we come here to talk about this topic. Genetics is fundamental nowadays. We've been through moments in the Brazilian cattle breeding, but we have been through cycles. And the first cycle was when the Zebu a breed came here, and then we went through a revolution about thinking of pastures, and after that, we started with the EDPs when we started measuring the animals, and now we're going through another revolution, which is the genetic revolution, especially with the genome issue. And that made Brazil to go from an importing country both of milk and beef to become the largest beef producer of the world. And not only that, that was also developed, but without the work of measuring that is made by Coimma, these numbers would have never been possible and would have never been checked because it's not just important to have a high productivity animal. It's important to make this animal to have the possibility to pass it down to their genes. And without measuring it, we aren't able to do this. In the cycle of genetic improvement is going to be a continuous cycle. We know that the numbers from ASBIA in terms of inseminated animals are rising numbers, and they're going to grow for many, many years. We have around 13% of animals that are inseminated in Brazil, and the number of animals is going to continue growing. But if the cattle breeder that wants to make money doesn't measure animals, doesn't weigh these animals to meet the demand of import, he's going to be left behind. And if he's left behind, what is it going to do? He's going to go bankrupt. So we need to continue working, taking into account genetic management and nutrition. And now we cannot leave out measurement because if you not measure data, you cannot stay in the business, right? Yes, it's really good, and we can see this in the machine and trunk containment segments, the evolution of these products, right? Edu, can tell us a bit what you mentioned, what you've seen in the daily lives, what the trunks are, how they are evolving, and their use is being changing. And without a doubt, I would say that Coimma and Mr. Jose was a visionary in the 60s with the imports, and Mr. Rubens Carvalho, they brought the genetics. But Rodrigo, I usually say that it would be very hard today, for example, for you to talk about follicular aspiration, EETF, and to have ultrasound, and if the tools were not here. That's why Coimma feels a helper in the development of genetic and cattle breeding as a whole by offering these products. Think about a young vet that works in a very secure trunk, especially in a Megatron, which is a trunk that with seven keys you can move all of the functions by closing the neck and the lateral part as well. I believe that we contribute effectively for the development of a genetic, because it would be really hard to inseminate an animal in in a place that would not provide the same yield. And it's not just that, Sazin. We have to take into consideration other factors. We're thinking about the vet risk as well. But people who work with cattle breeding, especially cattle breeding of precision, the value of these animals nowadays is a very significant value. So, and not have an accident without a trunk. People who work with it on a daily life, we know that the animals can suffer an accident, and we know that having these tools available on a daily life, we can minimize the risk of accidents that might happen. And you mentioned a very interesting point, especially in the issue of genetics, which is the issue of having the availability of the treatment, not only in a preventive manner, but healing as well, but also having the possibility to work with the reproductive part and the workforce that is even hard, right? More, and a person can work with trunk like this can work very with fewer people, especially with people leaving the field to or farms to the city. So these people need the adequate tools in terms of securities in a way that is contained. So to preserve the carcass is fundamental, right? Yes. And at the end of the day, as you have to think that we're going to have fewer people working in the corral, and there will be fewer people with accidents. You're going to reduce the payment that are going to be paid at the end of the year. You can buy this and you can reduce the costs for your farm. And in this line of thought, I'd like to mention a case of another partner that has been using the profits exactly with the using of a trunk such as ours to contribute for the evolution of genetic. And after that, we're going to talk about how profit can be achieved considering genetic evolution. Animals that are less stressed are a guarantee of better production. We look for an option of handling that would favor the efficiency of our work. Coimma presents Profit by Gerson Sanchez. We are a company that provides services, collects semen of breeders, bovines that belongs to a CRV company, a Dutch company, and we have the central lab with the production of 3 million doses. It's a center that is connected to the production of reproducers of fostering bovine genetic in Brazil. Profit for me is everything that you aggregate in terms of value to everything that's something to invest it. That can be tangible and intangible as well. All of the animals that come to the central are the ones that will foster genetics. So these are the animals that will bring to the clients improvement in terms of the production of beef as well as dairy or milk. So these are the best breeders that come to the central for the collection of semen and for the semen to be distributed nationally and even internationally. And it was developed on top of three main pillars. One of them is the issue of the animal well-being. We focus on this a lot. And the second one is concerning the handling of the animals that we have within the central. And with the third is sustainability, where there is an issue of production of forage for that is silage also that is produced within the central, bringing quality and what's distributed for the producers. and breeders. These animals required for us to provide them better comfort, security, well-being for these breeders. And thinking about this through a partnership that we established with Coimma, we brought Megatron, and we realized from the very beginning an improvement that is significant, both in concerning with the handling of the animal that is quicker, and just one worker can handle all of the breeder that's going to be destined for the collection area, and also the issue of the topic of individual intervention in an animal in a specific area, the cushion walls, and that brings security for the personnel and comfort for the breeder. And Megatron brought this balance for us because we needed something like this for Central. We Coima innovation with a look to the future. As we can see here, and we collected the benefits for profit and using genetic evolution using Megatron. So, Rodrigo, I'd like to thank you for the participation in our broadcast here. And what do you consider and this for the cattle breeders to need to in terms of evolution of milk? The cattle breeder needs first of all to look at cattle breeding as something like a company and to look for the tools that it needs to sustain his business. He needs to focus on results. If he doesn't focus on results, he won't get anywhere. And in order to get to this place today without measuring animals, without working the genetics, and without working with animal improvement, he won't get anywhere. I believe, but I'm actually sure that the best way for us to make decision is with numbers. And with the numbers at hand, you can make a decision. A factor that is important to highlight is many animals with many owners, property owners, are mating, but certain bulls do not reproduce well in this farm, and he needs to know that these animals are not productive. And weighing the animals, he'll be able to choose the best animals to make decisions with better decisions. Rodrigo, thank you very much for being here, accepting our invitation. Thank you so much. And we do we hope that you can collaborate with the next meetings, right? Thank you very much, and thank you, guys. And I hope to be here in the next programs. And it's an honor to be here and ABCZ and to send a big hug to everyone abroad. In 2021, at the end of last year, we well, it was our 70th anniversary, and the celebrations did not stop, right? Even though it was at the end of the year, we celebrated throughout this year. We made a celebration video of these 70 years. Let's watch this video. New ideas come up every day. There are inspiration, dreams, plans. The starting point is the same for everyone, but the finish line is not. We believe that the choice of the path is as important as the goal. Therefore, for 70 years, we've been tracing a course and with many challenges, winnings, and steps taken towards the future. This path took us all the way to where we are now, contributing to the evolution of cattle breeding, encouraging the best practices in the activity, and to offer innovative solutions that generate value and guarantee efficiency, security, and animal well-being. Our principles made us the largest company of trunks and scales in Latin America, and it wasn't easy to get here. But for those who look for anything but excellence, the path is always harder. We opened the doors for the era of technology and what would come afterward. And we innovated with creating with differentiated solutions. We followed growing constantly, investing in research, study, and innovation. The recognition of our work put us in among the most innovative companies in Brazil, and it encouraged us to go further beyond. But nothing would be possible without God and without the key part of our structure, the right people. Our team of associates completes our family and strengthens our passion for the evolution of cattle breeding. The path is a long one. But we do know that together we're capable to offer solutions that are differentiated and the necessary support for the growth of the national cattle breeding. Coima, 70 years of innovation in technology for cattle breeding. Well, the video shows some of our history, and it shows a very beautiful message, which is people, right? All of this is possible and was possible due to us having the correct team. And I believe that almost getting to the end of our stream program, we would like to mention our last launch, which was the line Robust Plus, a new line of trunks that will enable will enable more versatility for the breeder. And we would like to watch the video first, and after that, we're going to talk about it. Coimma revolutionized once again with a great launch. The new Robust Plus trunk with more efficiency in containment, handling, positioning, and new system of guillotine and ample access to the animal. More versatility with two different models with a new modular system. Focus on the animal well-being and with a system of management and rubber parts and padded laterals, and also with exclusive locks, easy lots, and with the same standard of quality of Coima. New Trunk Robust Plus. It's profit for sure for your business. Coima, technological innovation for cattle breeding. This new line, we believe it's going to, with it, we're going to be able to reach more markets, markets that have still have some restrictions. Eduardo, tell us some about the new differential of this new line. Bruno, Coima in this process of transformation, it was always the pioneer in the wood line, and but now concerned with how can I put it, with a market that is really demanding we using steel. We changed the product now in the Robust Plus. It's made with steel, revested with polyethylene with anti-stress floor. It's modular too, and that's the differential in terms of the wood because it wasn't possible to do that with wood. It's lighter and it's easier to deal with. So it's a product that came to innovate. We still manufacture the ones with wood. It's still in our production line, but concerned with wood, which is some a resource due to legal issues, we decided to migrate to steel, right? And you can say that wood it is sustainable because we only work with projects of with management handling approved by IBAMA. The whole story of Coima always had with proper handling and legal handling, and we believe in the sustainability of wood, and that's why we continue with it in portfolio. But more and more, it's scarce the availability of legal wood due to the consumption, right? And that's why we've been broadening our portfolio to allow and meet different markets, the demand of different markets. That's the interesting part, right? So when the conversation is really good, it goes by really fast, right? It was really good to be here with you, and I believe that talking about Coimbra, it's always cool, and it's a talk about technology and cattle breeding, and to be able to take our name to the rest of the world, that is a reason for pride and pleasure for us. We are available here, and everyone that's listening to us, please look for us, look our partners and our representatives and international representatives. Go to the social media, look at for our contacts. We've been part of all the fairs that Apex has been promoting. We make sure that we are part of them, and we are here available Thank you very much, Cezinho. Thank you to the all team of the ABCZ TV, the team of Brazilian Cattle as well, which is a reason of pride, Apex, that funds part of the project. We're really happy, and we thank the participants of Expo Connect, and we give you the invitation to Expo the book next year, right? Everybody has to be here available, right?
Yes, Bruno, we thank you so much for the opportunity of having you with us in our house, in your house, doing a lot more in when it comes to technology and innovations. And actually, this has already begun, right? Like you have mentioned. This full future is already now, and we're already part of that. And we can bring this future of technology to the entire world is exactly what makes us proud, right? So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart to always be here with us, to participate always in our actions and the actions of Brazilian cattle. And I am sure that we have a lot more to come.
Thank you very much, Isi. Zé, would you like to make your final remarks and for all of the audience throughout the world? Sure. I would say to cattle breeders from Brazil and the rest of the world to believe in technology. As WhatsApp is a reality and emails and virtual banks, why not cattle breeding remotely? And you can monitor your herd. Today is already a reality, and bypass scale that weighs the animals at the back of the property. You can do this. You're gonna get the data in your palm of your hands. Believe in it, and the data have always been important and they are much more important than before. You have to manage your business to be more and more profitable. Eduardo, please, thank you if for being here. Would like to have final remarks. Yes, I also thank the participation on this live broadcast, and I'd like to thank for this moment to convey information to the cattle breeders today and to say that we're available in social media channels and telephone and network of representatives, and I put myself available to help them. Thank you very much, everyone, and I thank you for us. It's always an opportunity and a reason of pride to be here and to take a bit of our history, a story to the rest of the world and Brazil.
That's exactly it. As a zootechnician, to generate data and to have more information is an evolution. Congratulations for your work and congratulations for you who is there interested to improve yourself and to use technologies that we offer in the Brazilian cattle raising. Thank you so much for being here with us again. See you next time. Bye bye.